got this email. I've just took off the signature and just pasted it into a notepad from one of my clients, and he wants me to design some software. Written in the email here, details below of what's being installed. We don't have any meter names at the moment, so we're just calling meter 1, meter 2 in each location. We also don't have any IP addresses yet assigned for the devices. That's not a problem, that can be done later. So we're using a MAC36 controller, 250 points. One location they're going to put an iSMA 8i module, so that's 8 inputs and it's IP, and 4 electric pulse meters is going to be connected to the iSMA. And then location 2 they're going to put an 8i, and then they also want a Modbus link from that 8i IP to another 8i module, but it's not an IP module, it's RS485, and they're going to put 9 meters in there. And then location 3, another 8i IP and another Modbus link for 14 meters. And then location 4 is where the MAC36 controller is going to be installed. Please use the 16 of the UI as pulse counters. And then from there he wants 4 iSMA 8i Modbus link to the MAC36. So not the IP ones, just the normal RS485s. And then they have a modem installed, will be put into the second port of the MAC36, so we've got remote access. So I think what we'll do is that modem will just go to the default IP address of the MAC36, which is 192.168.1.123. Modem will be set up for that. And then the second address will be for all the iSMA 8 IP modules. Then they fit in a Moxa RS485 converter over LAN. So that's got its own built-in LAN. But we'll be talking to that over an IP address. So we need Modbus Tcp, which we do anyway for the 8Is. 12 radio channels. Regarding graphics, could you please have a page with pulse counter values on it so the guys can log in remotely via a browser? Yeah. Thinking of, is it possible to have a page where it has a connection confirmed to different IP devices? Okay, not a problem. Be nice to have a snapshot for the guys on site. No, it's not going to take ages. Any questions, let me know. So I'm going to keep pausing this video because there'll be a lot of things I want to set up. But first of all, I've got a iSMA 8i IP. I don't have an iSMA 8i Modbus, but I do have a 4U4A RS485 Modbus module that I could link to it to test it. And once we know that's working, and then I need to do some sort of IP address range so we don't get confused. I need to copy this information and put it into a text file on the station, and I'm using MAC36, so let's use Workbench 4.10, because I don't think at this moment in time we can actually use 4.11. So let's start with commissioning a station. Like I said, I'll probably be pausing this every now and again. There's no point in you watching the screen for a station to reboot and things like that. So let's go into 4.10, which has not been used before. I normally use 4.8 or 4.9. So let's file, open platform. Really? This is going to be slow. So I've got 2 screens, so And mouse went over to the other screen. Open platform. Now default address of this is going to be 192.168.1.123. I'm going to just do an F9. Like I said, I'm going to keep pause. Oh, I don't need to. It's done it straight away. So accept that. I'm going to recommission this Jace because I think it's got 4.8 on it. So I'm going to just start it right at the beginning. But I know what my username and password is at the moment. I'm not going to save it because it's going to default back to the normal Niagara once I've commissioned this. So distribution file installer. And let's put that clean dist on there, which it puts it to a 4.8 state, and we'll commission the station and everything like that. So let's just go down to install that. Like I said, I will be pausing when it's taking its time. We know that applications must be stopped. So I'm going to pause this now and come back in a minute. Okay, so that's done, and it's rebooting the host, so I can close that window. Again, I'm going to pause it because I know it takes a good 3 or 4 minutes to do everything on my MAC36. Right, let's see whether it's booted back up. So this is going to be Tridium, and I could have used a tab, but Niagara. I'm not going to remember the details at the moment. Still can't connect, so it's still booting itself up. I'll pause it again. Okay, let's do that again now. Tridium. Niagara. Accept. Next, passphrase, whatever passphrase you normally use. Whatever username you use. I'm going to put this as admin. Sometimes it's better not to. It's better to put another name. But in this case, I'm just going to use. And then you can have a comment for your password reminder, but I'm not going to bother in this case. I don't think I'll ever forget my password. Right, let's commission this now. Platform administrator. Commission. It's 4.8 at the moment. We're going to put 4.10 on this. I'm going to sync it with my local system date and time, even though it should still be okay. I'm going to install my licenses. Need that there. I'm not going to transfer a station. I'm just wondering whether to... No, we'll just leave it as it is. I'll make a new station in a minute while that's rebooting. Next. Leave the IP addresses as it is. Leave that as it is. So that's 10.0.0.125. So we use that for the network. Leave that as it is. And finish. Again, this is going to take some time. So I'm going to pause it. Okay, so that's rebooting at the moment. So let's close that window. Let's make a station. Tools. New station. We'll call it Queen Square, because that's what the job is. New controller station. Set password. Right, we're just going to stick some network stuff on here now. So we know we're going to be using TCP Modbus. So, new. iSMA to IO network. Yes, let's use that one as well. Just leave it at default at the moment. That's for the MAC36 points. Modbus I want, and Modbus TCP network. Because everything's going to be Modbus TCP network, but what I'm also going to do is just, yes, because for MAC36 he wants some iSMAs on there, RS485, so that's got to be Modbus async that we've got to have there for that network. Modbus async network. So we've got Modbus TCP, Modbus async. I think that's going to be it for the networks. That covers the networks in that email. I'm not going to do anything else now, so I'm going to right click this config bug and go to save. You see the icon will change from black to white. So that's now saved. I presume now I've done that, the platform would have took its time to reboot itself. So now this is going to be my username and password, which I'm going to tick the remember these credentials. Now I'm going to just go straight to station copier. There's a Queen Square that we've just made, and we're going to copy it across to the station. Controller. Yes, we want that. Next, it's telling me what it's going to install. Finish. Close window. So station is now starting. So again, I'm going to just pause this. Do you want to open application? Oh, don't ask again, and yes. And that's booting up. So I'll wait while that's finished booting. So I'll pause this for now. Okay, so that is booted up and we're running on port 4911. So we should be able to open up the station now. Four 4911. Accept. Okay, so that is now commissioned, running a station. So now we've got our platform that we can work on, or our station that we can work on. We should have the drivers that I've put in there, and now we've got to work on that. First of all though, I think I need to write down or make a note of some IP addresses. So I'll do that first and I'll come back to you in a minute. Okay, so I've just added to this email. So the first iSMA 8i is going to be 10.0.0.1. Second one 10.0.0.2 with another iSMA attached to it via RS485 to address 1. We'll have that as address 1. The other iSMA IP is 3 with another iSMA attached to it. The MAC36 controller, we're going to have it as 125. And then we've got 4 addresses, 1, 2, 3 and 4 for the RS485. And then the MOXer will be addressed 5, location 5. So with that in mind, we will now start with what he wants doing. So the iSMA network, he wanted all these universal 16s to be pulses. So let's just new iSMA device, leave it as default. New. And it needs to be a counter, digital input counter, and we want 16 of them because there's 16 of the units. I think I would like to rename these. So I prefer starting from, I'll do it from there so I don't get any issue with numbers. So that's 16. 15. Let me pause this so you don't need to watch me do all this. Okay, that's them numbered. Okay. So there are 16 counters. So Modbus TCP network. You need to go to tools. Oh, well, I need window first. Sidebars. I need palette. And then I'm going to search for iSMA, because I have an iSMA palette there. I don't want that one. I don't think I've got that on 10, so I need to put that palette or go into my, not even in my bloody station there. Yeah, wasn't even in my station. Let me just set that back up again and I'll come back to you. Okay, the MAC36 iSMA has only got 4 digital inputs that can be used as counters. So you can't use all the UI16s for digital inputs, like the email he was expecting, because he said here, please use 16 of the UIs as post counters. You can't. You can only use the 4, so you can't have 16. So I need to send him an email, and he may need to have to add a few more 8i modules to that. So let's go to the Modbus async network. Well, first of all, I need to add the iSMA module in the software software manager of the platform. So let's just do that. And I don't have it, so I need to get it and download. So I'll do that now. I'll put you on pause again. I'll just took you off pause just to show you how I put this module in there. So this is the iSMA module that I want. So I'm going to copy that and drive C, Niagara, 4.10, modules, right click, paste. Now what I've got to do is reboot the station. So I'm just going to go into Application Director, not reboot the station, sorry. I need to reboot my workplace. So I'm just going to go to File, log off, File, close window. And I'm going to start it again. just make a note with that email in brackets. Only 4 DI can be used. Not the 16 UI. Start the platform. So now I've reloaded, shut down, restarted. The modules now will be in there that I want. Still got to add it to the software manager on the station. So the left hand side, well, I'm not doing a file transfer, but on the left hand side now I should have the iSMA module come up and I can install that onto the station. There we go. Saying not installed, which of course it isn't. And install. And commit. Good. Didn't need a reboot, which is fine. Let's go into the station. Mouse went all over on the next screen. Config drivers. Let's go to iSMA now in the palette. iSMA modules, yes, that's what we want. And we're doing the Modbus async, so that means it's just the RS485 on the MAC36. So the A-time modules. So I'm going to drag that and put that across. Not that one. That one. Now I don't have any modules attached to the MAC36, so this is going to come up as an error fault, which it has. Now I think they wanted 4 of these, but now he knows that he can't have any more UI16s. He probably wants some more than 4. Let's just set that to RTU. Default address 1 first. Now these need to be counters, pulse counters. So that's no good to me for the inputs. So views, I'm going to change one and then I can just copy and paste it across to the others. So let's just take that out completely. We don't need that. We'll go down to the points. And that's what we want. Counter 1 to 8. We bring them across. and then we'll also bring across so we can set the counters. So i.e. if the meter's got a reading already, we can set what the meter reading is. Just pause you a minute. Right, back with you again. I'm going to take them across. And then I'm going to tidy up this. So I'll probably put you on pause. And then I'll come back to you in a minute. Well, I'll just do one thing. What I would do, I'm normally going to put a title up there. So I would normally put a text box there. I'll call it note. And then I would go into there. And I'll put inputs, for example, and I would give it a background color. Go OK. Put a border around it and make it bold. Save it. And then if I go back, it's got a box there or so. I'm going to pause you again and just tidy up this. Okay, while I was tidying up, I just thought I'd better just show you what I was doing here. It's just an easy quick saver. I'm going to change these counters here as I've done at the top, and I'm going to put them to meters. So I'm just highlighting all of them. I press the shift key there and clicked on the other. I'm going to go to rename, and I want to rename counter, and I want to rename it to a meter. Go OK, and then they've all changed to meters. I'll just show you that. Thought I'll show you one of these. You can put it on pause after that. But all I'm doing here is I'm going into the pin slots. I'm removing the 10 and the 16. So I'm just clicking on there to remove that pin there, remove that pin there, and then I'm going to go down and highlight that pin there and go OK. And then I can then move that across to there. I'm going to do the others, and then I will take you off pause. Okay, so that's done. I'm just going to tidy up this right hand, left hand side. I'm just going to put that as rename that, and I'll put it down as notes, but I'm just going to rename that to inputs. And then right click that, reorder. So I'm going to be copying this across. I'm going to be using this template now for all the others. I want that up there, and I'll take that meter value and put that up there first. And take that one now and take that right up to the top. Go OK. looks okay. That side, so meter set, so we can set the meter value, and then that's going to pulse. Now what we've got to do now is, we don't know whether that pulse is 1 pulse per kilowatt, 1 pulse per 10 kilowatts or 100 kilowatts. We have no idea. So we're going to add, each one of them is going to have its own folder. Just wondering how I'm going to work that one out, probably with the location. I'm going to put you on pause again and just have a think about this. Okay, so I've decided to make a folder for the locations. So I've made a folder called logic. In there I've just put another folder called location, which is location 4 for the MAC36 and the iSMAs. And then I've made another folder called iSMA 8i 1, and I don't really need, I can just keep it iSMAs. So each individual folder inside here, if I go into one of these for you, I've got to add the pulse counter. So this is a MAC36, so they're all the same. So we've got the pulses, and then we've got histories, meter total, and current 15 minutes, last hour, this hour, yesterday, today, last week, this week, last month, etc, etc. And that logic will save the value, which we can then put onto a spreadsheet or send via Excel. I'm going to carry on with the rest of the iSMAs. I better show you how I would join an iSMA, probably. So if I take that iSMA, which is the MAC36, link market, go to the controller for the MAC36, iSMA network, and that's my input counter there. So I've right clicked it, link to, and I'm going out from that to pulse in on that. And that's it for that one. If I show you on the iSMA, link mark, go to the first iSMA, and we've only got one iSMA at the moment. I haven't copied these across yet. So that's a meter 1 value there. Right click that, link to, out, pulse in, go OK. Now it's stale because I haven't got it connected onto the MAC36. Right, I'm going to carry on and do the rest, and then I'll come back. Okay, I'm as you can see, these are all in fault, and see the Modbus address there for digital meter 1 402.23.25.27. I only need one of them addresses to set up for pinging, so 40023. So ping address 40023 Modbus 40023. and that's integer and holding and RTU, which is remote terminal unit. So let's just save that 4023. Let's just double check that it is an integer. It's a holding and long type. So let's go back. Long type. Save that. Now I know he mentioned about some sort of PX screen so the engineers can see what's down, what's failed, so I'll quickly show you this one. So files, don't want that. Files, new PX file, I call it location, no, network. Edit that. Tidy it all up later, but I'll just show you about the point. So we know that these ASIC ones for meter 1 is down, so if I just take that meter there, drag it across, and click on properties, wrong one. I don't want to look at that one. I want to check the network. So it'd be that. I want status. Go OK. Which we know it's in fault. And then I can put some text at the side of that, and then they can see that that's in fault. Okay, I'll do some of these for you and then we'll come back to this. Okay, I'll just show you this. I'm just taking the address across so it can actually be changed if need be, but I wouldn't expect them to change the address, but it shows them on the graphic once it's all tidied up what the device address is. So these that's saying OK at the moment, they will go stale. The only reason they are saying OK is I've just set up the baud rate, which really I could have done with showing you how to do that as well, and the COM port that I'm using, which is COM port 1. So I can show you that. That was in the right click that, views, AX property sheet. And all I did there was change that port name to COM1, no spaces, and I changed the baud rate to the highest baud rate that it was set to. Right, I'll carry on, do some more, and I'll come back in a bit. So, location 4's done with the ISMAs, with the 4 ISMAs, the MSTP, that's backnet there, Modbus RTU, so there's 2 wires in the screen, linked to COM1 of the MAC36 controller. All the ISMAs have got exactly the same logic inside them. That's the logic. Currently it's in watt hours at the moment, and we can put a preset value in here if we needed to of the meter, or we can use the Modbus preset value and set it so we could leave this as null value and use the Modbus meter reading on the ISMA itself. I'll show you this again. Meter set. So we can use that to set the meter reading, and then every pulse then it would just count up. Again, we don't know whether it's one pulse is 1 watt or what yet. We have no idea. So that will come down to commissioning. What I'm going to do now is, so location 4's finished. I want to show you with the guard how to add a meter onto the Modbus TCP network. So we'll double click that and we'll go down to ISMA modules at the bottom already in our palette. I'm just going to select the Modbus TCP, and it's an 8i. I'm just going to drag that across to the TCP network. Go OK there. So I'm looking on the other screen. So location 1, he wants 1 ISMA 8i IP, address 10.0.0.1. So we've got to set that up. So that address, use AX property sheet. Type in the address. .0.0.1. So now I've got to configure my already connected 8i IP module to that address. Let's save that. I've just got to connect a USB to my computer, so let me do that. So I'll put you on pause. So the iSMA configurator, load that up, and let me disconnect the USB. I can do it from up here. Connect it again. There's the IP module, and IP configuration for that is going to be 10.0 10.0.0.1. Now we're going to be talking back to the controller, and I know we've set that at 10.0.0.125. Is that right? Yeah, that's the controller. So we want to write that information to the module. Right, successful. Read the module. And that's it, read. It's necessary to perform read after read. Okay, let's reload the settings then. So that's again done that. Let's just read it again, just make sure. Okay, I'm going to put you on pause while I connect it up, because the meter of it currently on my other network, so I need to connect it direct to the controller. So that's now connected to my controller, and I've pinged it, and it's working fine. So again, we've got to set up these points in this IP with the take that out. Go to there. Now it's actually the same as the other, so DI1, DI2. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy and paste this that I've got in here. I'm just going to highlight all them points. No point in reinventing the wheel. Copy. And paste. No, that's not right. I don't know why. It's probably down to the Modbus address is actually slightly different. So let's just take a counter across an IP one and just see what Modbus address that is. 40023 holding long. 40023 holding long. 40023 holding long. Four 00023 holding long. Exactly the same. So I shouldn't have an issue. Let me just disable it. Save. And enable it. Save. Now it's okay. Okay, I'm going to do the rest and I'll get back to you. Alright, I couldn't be bothered to disable them all and enable them all, so I just restarted the computer. No, not the computer, the station in Application Director. So now, I don't want that, I want the TCP network. That's online, and the points should all be online now for that module. And looking at my notes, he only wants 4 meters, but I'm going to bring all the 8 in as meters. So look at wire sheet. Yeah. So I'm going to bring all 8 in. So location 1, he only wants 4, but I'm going to bring all the 8 in. I'll do that and I'll come back to you. Okay, I've put the information as a note on the spreadsheet for the logic folder. Now we're going to just do a new folder, and that's going to be location 1. Okay, and that's, if I go into location 4 and take them meters, 1, 2, 8, and I'll take the header, the MAC, don't want the MAC36, I'll click that, and iSMA, copy that, minimize that, and paste that into there. Views. Station just auto saved itself. Views. Wire sheet. So this is the iSMA 8i, and it's an IP, so we can change that subject there, and 8i IP 10.0.0.1 leave that. Go back. So I need to change the locations because it's not location 4 now. It's location 1. So highlight that, highlight that, rename block 4 to lock 1. Still meter 1 to 8. I just need to change that text up at the top. Now I've got to join them. I think this camera is actually slowing down my PC. I think I'm going to disable this camera because this is so slow with the mouse. Come on, go back. Right, let me disable this camera. Apparently I'd have to stop the video to disable it, so I've just took it out of the way. That's still not going to help, I don't think. Let's just reorder this because we're nearly finished with this video anyway now. Let's put location 1 at the top there. So we've got location 1, location 2, and then we're going to have to take the points. So that's your IP, so I'm going to link mark this one. Link 2. Out into there. So that's in there now. So what I'll do is I'll leave all that lot at the moment. I'll pause the video and I'll set it up so that we can put a RS485 onto a 8i IP. So you have an iSMA 8i IP, and then you have a iSMA 8i RS485 connected to the IP's RS485, so you're physically using the IP address to talk to the other iSMA. Now I don't have an iSMA 8i, but I do have a U4AO, so that will give you an idea. So let me pause the video and wire that in. Right, so I've now got the second module in, and it is a 8i IP module. So the other one's offline because naturally I don't have two of them. So let's just actions ping. Let me take that one offline because we've got two addresses. Oh, I'll just give it another address for the moment. But I'll give this one address too. And then I've got to set it on the controller as address 2. I'll just pause you a minute. Okay, so they're both address 1s. That's just got a different IP address. And so they can be address, both can be address 1s because of the different IP address. They couldn't if we were using the same IP. So this is the second one, location 2, and this one's then got an iSMA B8i but RS485 type, but we're using the IP to take the information. So what we've got to do now is add in another module. So on the iSMA palette, because I don't have an 8 IP and I only got the RS485, I've got a 4U4A. I'm going to bring that one across, but I would normally bring an 8 IP across, but I'm just doing this to show you how it works. But it's not an IP. But you use that to bring it across, and then I'm going to set the address of that to a 2, because that's what I've set the address on there as a 2. And the IP address is going to be the same IP address as the 8i. 10.0.0.2. Save. So I can see at the corner of my eye they're actually communicating. But when we look at these points, so you didn't need another. So how this has been wired, it'd be better probably giving you a picture, but how it's been wired is the first module's got the Ethernet cable to it. The second module has got RS485, 3 cables linked from RS485 on module 1 to RS485 on module 2, and it's using the IP, because it's got a different address, it's using the IP to talk to that other module. So you've only got one Ethernet connection, so that can be at the other end of the building, and then you can add as many RS485 modules as you want to onto that one IP one, within reason of course, and as long as you set the addresses different, then you'll be able to talk to the other RS485 modules via IP. You don't have to run an RS485 cable. Let's just show you some points. So if this particular one has got universal inputs, temperature. I haven't actually put a temperature to it, but I could wire one in. I've got some spare temperature sensors here. So let me just move that one across and do an F9, pause you, and wire in a temperature sensor. So there you go, you've got the temperature sensor wired in there, and I could do with taking a picture, putting it on my desktop so you can see the configuration. So let me do that as well, put you on hold. Okay, So this is the wiring. So we've got the 8i input module there, and then of course I've got the UI4 and A04 module there. I've connected the RS485, because it's not an IP module, across to the RS485 of the IP module. There's your Ethernet cable going in at the bottom. We've got power and power. So that's set to an address 1, which is this module here, that one there, and the other one is set to address 2. And the information, i.e. that temperature sensor that I've just wired in there, is being taken via the RS485 network to the iSMA 8 IP module, and then bringing back across to the controller via IP. And you can see it, the temperature with those points there, 22.8. Right, I'm going to carry on with this software, and I don't need to record anymore. You've got the idea. And that's it for now. If you like anything, put information in the comments if you want to, and click subscribe if you don't mind. Thank you.